Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. Have you ever felt the person you love slowly drifting away from you? Not in some dramatic, obvious way, but little by little, so quietly that you can't even pinpoint when it started. That's what happened to me. We had only been married for 2 years, but it felt like things were already cracking. My wife, the same woman whose laughter used to fill every corner of our home, suddenly became distant. Dinner became quiet. Her mind always seemed somewhere far away. Whenever I tried to talk to her, it felt like she was slipping through my fingers. I'd see her glance at her phone, lock the screen quickly, and smile at me with this tired, forced expression. Just exhausted, she'd say. But that wasn't the truth. I could feel it. At first, I tried to convince myself it was stress. Maybe her job was overwhelming. Maybe something personal was bothering her. But as days passed and weeks stacked on top of each other, the space between us grew like a wall. I'd come home to silence. She used to rush to the door, wrap her arms around me, and tell me about her day in one breath. Now she barely looked up. I'd eat alone, watch TV alone, sleep next to her, yet feel like I was sharing a bed with a stranger. And then the doubts began. That ugly inner voice. The one that starts with innocent worry and turns into something darker. Maybe she's bored of me. Maybe she found someone else. I hated myself for thinking that way, but the more she pulled back, the more paranoid I became. She guarded her phone like a treasure chest, even taking it with her into the bathroom. Every small change in her behavior became fuel for my imagination. I started replaying old memories, searching for red flags that weren't there. I'd check her posts online, looking for hints of someone new. It ate at me day and night. Then one night, everything snapped. It was past midnight. I sat on the bed pretending to scroll through my phone while my eyes lingered on her. She lay with her back to me, holding her phone as if it were a shield. "You've been so distant," I finally said. "Is something wrong?" She didn't answer for what felt like an eternity. Then, "I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it." Cold. Emotionless. Just another wall. I lay awake that whole night, staring into the darkness, anger and hurt swirling in my chest. For the first time I thought about giving up. Filing for divorce. Walking away from the confusion, the loneliness, the feeling of being unwanted in my own home. I still loved her deeply, but loving someone who feels miles away is exhausting. I started quietly preparing myself for the possibility that our marriage was ending. Then everything changed. One morning a few weeks later I came home early. She didn't hear me enter. As I walked down the hall, I heard her voice from our room, soft, shaking. I paused at the door, not wanting to eavesdrop but unable to move. My worst fears hit me all at once. But the voice on the other end wasn't a stranger. It was her mother. And then, the words that nearly dropped me to my knees. "Mom, I'm pregnant." The world froze. She continued talking, unaware I was listening. Her voice quivered as she confessed everything she'd been bottling up. "I haven't told him yet. He's been so distant lately and I'm scared. What if he isn't ready? What if I can't handle this? What if I disappoint him?" In that moment, every assumption I had collapsed. She wasn't hiding another man. She was hiding fear. Fear of becoming a mother. Fear of doing it wrong. Fear that I'd think she wasn't enough. Meanwhile, I had been pulling away, convinced she'd stopped loving me, when she needed me the most. Guilt hit me harder than anything I'd ever felt. I stood there for a moment, gathering myself, then gently knocked and stepped inside. She looked up, startled and teary-eyed. "I heard you," I said softly. Her face crumbled and she started crying, covering her face with both hands. I sat beside her and slowly pulled her hands away. "You could have told me," I whispered. "I was scared," she sobbed. "I didn't know how you'd react. I'm terrified of being a mother. I didn't want you to be disappointed." Everything in me softened. Every bitter thought, every moment of jealousy, every fear I'd held, it all disappeared. "You're not doing this alone," I told her. "We'll figure it out together." And for the first time in months she melted into my arms. Not distant. Not guarded. Just her, scared, vulnerable and real. We talked for hours that night. She told me about the nausea, the panic, the sleepless nights she'd spent terrified of my reaction. I confessed how I'd misread everything and let my insecurity twist reality. By the time we finally went to bed, the heaviness that had been between us was gone. That night taught me something powerful. Not every silence is rejection. Not every change is betrayal. Sometimes the person you love is simply drowning in fear. I almost walked away from my marriage because I believed the worst instead of asking for the truth. Now, when I feel our baby kick under my hand, when I see her smile again, a real smile, I'm grateful. Grateful that I came home early that day. Grateful that I got the chance to understand her before it was too late. Sometimes the truth doesn't break you. Sometimes it saves you. And if I've learned anything, it's this. Don't assume silence means someone stopped loving you. Sometimes they're just waiting for you to ask if they're okay. Really ask so they can finally let the fear out. Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers.